scores. And those 3 points add up, and that was key. But once again, we just want to make sure that we go out and execute. We don't ever want to go out there and not execute. And what I mean by execute, we want to get the snap, we want to get the hole, we want to get the kick, because that's where it starts.
How beneficial is it for those guys on the coverage units and things like that to have an actual game under their belt now and maybe be able to see that film and improve in that regard?
A lot. And the younger they are, the more beneficial it is. Because some of them are running down for the first time. But every game is different. But to actually do it, I've talked a lot with you guys about when the lights come on, and we did it there, and on a big stage against a good football team. So yeah, you take those live reps and the speed, actual game speed, and you can teach a lot more than you can out here, even when we're in a scrimmage situation. So yeah, we expect to see the old adage of between game 1 and game 2 is your best, the most improvement. So we hope that's true.
Dar flipped the field for you early, and then probably wasn't as consistent maybe as you'd like.
Exactly. I mean, we need. He had 2 kicks he'd like to have back, and we would too. We take that sky kick down there in the third or fourth, I guess fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But we need that. It's a field possession game, and it just changes how your coordinators can call the game, changes how people play, changes how aggressive you can be, and takes hope away. You start to drive on the 8-yard line, and you got 92 yards to get 6 or 7, and you got 65 or so that you can get 3. It's a big deal. And all of a sudden, now you look up and you're on whatever that yard line was. And we can't do that.
Had Dar been pretty successful in camp with those sky kicks?
And we work it all the time.
Right, I knew that.
Once again, it's just, you got that first game. That's I go back to when Dar's first kick this year, like JR's deal. That's JR's first snap ever. And so, you sit there and you go, okay, that first one ever is going to be a little bit different. And he calmed down. But hopefully that's all out of the way now.
You guys went in talking about maybe using both Palardy and Dar punting. Will you stick with just Dar this week, or is there a chance you'll use both?
We'll go in every week with the opportunity to use both. I mean, particularly because right and left footed and different things they allow us to do. But we don't narrow our options very often, put it that way.
How did Bullard do in his first game at tight end?
I thought he did really well. I mean, he's limited in what you'll do with him. You're not going to run any vertical routes with him. But, I was really happy with him because, when you do that sometimes, you pigeonhole yourself is what you're going to do. Now, we've got some pretty fast guys on the outside. If they want to load the box up, assuming it's a run game, well, Alex can pass protect as well as, any tight end or the tackle next to him probably. So now you go vertically down the field with him. So, but I was happy. He had 21 snaps, I want to say, 21, 23, and did a really good job.
What attributes does he have that made him the guy to do that?
Well, it's just like anywhere else. I mean, I would say that he's our 6th lineman. So what you do is you put your next one. You try to get your best people on the field. So you put him out there, and that's a great situation to have for a guy that can come in and knows the offense, knows the front side of the offense. And all that. The negative is, you're one ankle away from him having to go back, and there's any of those other linemen, if something happened to him, he got to go right back and play that because he is your 6th. And, so your thinness at tight end shows up a lot still. So, he's practiced it all this week, and we're continually getting the other guys ready too. So
what are the chances you throw him one? Let him run around and maybe catch a ball.
I just hang on and we'll see.
Coach, we talked about earlier in the week that maybe y'all over-managed Michael Rivera. Kind of, what's your thoughts on that?
What did he mean when he said that? I don't know.
Like limited him too much.
Oh, in the game? Mm-hmm. Maybe. We went into the game and we had a specific game plan, what we thought we could get done. We try very hard to not pigeonhole our tight ends and what they can do, meaning on the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. And we got into a situation in the game where our 21, meaning our fullback stuff, with Bullard, heavy 21, what we call it, was doing pretty well. I mean, we were running the power game, and Bart was doing a good job. And so we hit them with that for a while, and actually kind of, we broke their will a little bit. And then we brought Mike back in. But I think what Coach is saying is we want Mike to do everything. We want Mike to be able to line up in the backfield, lead up as a fullback. We want to line up on the line of scrimmage. We want to flex him out because he's a versatile guy. He's a smart guy. And so having said all that, that's what we need to use him as. And Bart, what we try to do with him is we don't want people to see him come on and go, oh, there's a fullback. Mm-hmm. And Bart lined up on the line of scrimmage quite a bit and did a good job for us. So we try, not just with Mike, with everybody, to make sure that we get them to where they can be a threat and a weapon in all aspects.
Is he maybe behind a little bit because of that injury he suffered in fall camp?
Maybe. I think that when you, and maybe that's what Coach was talking about too, when you bring them back in practice, you want to push the envelope and make sure, okay, can he do this? He starts off, he's jogging, then he's running, now he's cutting, now he gets the pads on, and and now he makes contact on somebody. Then you go 7-on-7, and what happens is, that last week probably was the first week we finally got him into, let him go. And so now you go from that to Friday night, and so. Yeah, I mean, I'd say from that aspect, he may have been a little rusty there, and wearing a knee brace and that type of thing, but I expect him to be. I know one thing, that practice he just had out there, we didn't worry about him too much, so he should be ready to go.
He seems like a pretty motivated guy. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Michael, you can't ask for a better attitude than Mike. I mean, he's motivated for the team. He wants to be good. He wants to do all things that he can, and there's no problem with blocking. There's no problem with obviously the route running part of it. But I'm happy to have him already.
Just going to ask about your coverage teams. Do you feel like you kind of have a core of guys, maybe Dante Vassaf, a Crum, that you feel pretty good about, out there competing on multiple special teams?
We do, but we want more.
Yeah.
Because, you get into a situation where all of a sudden one of them's playing a lot on defense, and you can never have enough depth. And so our big mantra around here is that we're trying to get some of these younger guys to step up. We got some young guys that need to get on the football field. They're all these 4- and 5-star things, and they are. They're really good players. But you can't just go run around and be fast in college football. In the SEC, you got to know what you're doing. So I think the lights start to come on for some of them. And what I mean by that is two ways. I think X and O wise, they're starting to see it because it's really fast. I mean, things are flying around when you first start doing this stuff, and you're like, it doesn't scare you, but it makes you tentative. And I think the second light that's coming on is like, wow, we just played a football game and I didn't play very much. And if I do this, I can get on the field, kickoff cover, or kickoff return, something like that. So we're trying to take that core unit you're talking about and make it bigger because you need as many as you can get on.
Is that just sort of hard for a 4- and 5-star guy to maybe realize, hey, my step onto the field is special teams? Because
it is, but it's not exclusive to here. It's happening everywhere. I mean, only the names and faces change. Next year it'll be the same thing, but they get it. And if you do it the right way, because what happens is, I had a question earlier about the speed of it, and that's what you do. You get in there and you see the real speed in the SEC, and you take that, and then when you get your first rep on defense or offense, it's not so overwhelming. And a lot of guys, that's where they cut their teeth, is on special teams. That's the way it is.
How do you balance starters versus reserves?
It's tough. I mean, Coach Dooley obviously has the final say on that. But what you try to do is, like Eric Gordon ended up having a lot of snaps that week, more than what we had thought. And so, you get into the game, and we spend extensive time, Coach Dooley and I, and the whole staff, going over and over and over the depth chart. What if this happens with him? Because you want to make sure your backups are strategically placed in case that happens.
I think you guys played 40